what he does, and that's go out there with his really good stuff and just throw strikes like he normally does. His first outing was very good. A couple innings, and he's in a good place now. He comes in camp in such great shape and ready to go, and he's determined to be ready when the bell rings, and that's his mindset. Because a lot has been talked about. Well, he pitched in November and short off season, but that's not how he looks at it. He looks at it as I need to be ready, and he is ready. I mean, the way he's throwing the ball. So, I mean, we have pushed these guys back a little bit, I guess, an extra day to make sure we don't overwork them. But when season starts, he'll be ready. Trust me. I mean, just watch how he's throwing now.
Hey, in the bullpen, there's 4 veterans. Sborz pitched yesterday. Leclerc and Yates and Sborz pitched yesterday. Leclerc today, right?
Right.
Is Robertson in the next day or two, or are you planning on holding him?
He's a few days away. Okay. Yeah, and that's his norm.
Okay.
He's fine throwing bullpens. Bullpens have been good, but that's just the way he prepares for the season, and so we're going to stick with that. So I think, gosh, don't hold me to this date, but it's around the 8th.
Okay, and that still gives him time for.
Yeah, he'll get enough innings. We checked all that. Again, he is throwing bullpens now. There is something I do need to tell you all. Harris was scratched today. He's supposed to start. Got a little soreness in the oblique area, just tightness, I guess I should say, instead of soreness. So just being a little cautious there. So that's the scratch you'll see. And
do that on that catch yesterday?
No, he didn't say where he did it.
Okay.
I think he felt it swinging.
Okay.
So anyway, we went ahead and scratched him and Fabian to get to start.
On Eovaldi, we have talked about this before with him, but Colwyn was saying that Eovaldi's helping him with his splitter. Mark Church has said, Eovaldi's been the veteran who's helped him the most in camp. After being around Nate for a year now, how have you seen him interact with the younger pitchers in the organization?
Yeah, it's been really cool to watch how engaged he is and what they're doing. And that's what great players do. As they say, they make their teammates better or try to make them better, and that's who Nate is. He watches the bullpens, and he cares about them, and he does all he can, to help them, especially the younger players. And so it's nice to have somebody like a Nate around that can also help these young players. Yeah. We as staff members, we do all we can, but when a peer is there to help you, it's something a little bit special about that, and especially a guy with his resume. And but you see him out there watching the bullpens, and he's not just standing there; he's watching them and talking to them, and especially when it comes to a split, he's got a lot of experience throwing it, and he's got a good one, so he can help out there.
Well, no. Have you ever seen a guy that's so eager like Nate to help other people, both young guys and even somebody like Andrew?
Yeah, he's right at the top for me. I mean, I've seen guys, but he really makes a strong effort to be there when he's not throwing and watch these guys, and so yeah, he could be one of the best I've seen.
Coach, what are your thoughts on just the way the splitter has evolved from when it first was introduced, and maybe even how usage last year was up a lot, and it seems like more guys are trying to learn or throw the splitter?
Yeah, well, it's been around. Trust me, more than a lot of people think. I mean, you go back to Mike Scott, and he made it very popular. But even before then, there were pitchers using it. But sure, it's more prevalent now in the game. It's such a difficult pitch to read. It's coming out like a fastball. It's dipping at the end. The arm speed, you can throw it just like a fastball. So it's just such a tough pitch to read. We saw a guy yesterday against us, how good his is, and so. When you have a guy that's maybe kind of sputtering a little bit, you try and get him over the humps, a pitch like that can help do that, a splitter. And I've seen it with, well, I just mentioned Scott, who was a teammate of mine with Houston. I saw how it changed his career. So it's done that for a lot of pitchers. And so now guys have more information on it, how to throw it, you can vary it a little bit, but it's such a big pitch now.
When did it go officially from split finger fastball to splitter?
I didn't know there was a difference really.
There isn't, but
Yeah.
what we call it, we don't
Yeah.
call it split finger fastball.
Yeah.
Just splitter.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good
I think
question.
that's baseball jargon. So.
Yeah.
Coach,
I think that's just how we talk.
Yeah.
The elevated fastball became kind of the in vogue pitch or whatever. Do you feel like hitters have started to adjust and they're hitting that pitch better?
I think so. I think with the different ways, the resources we have to get these guys to adjust to that pitch, with the machines, pitching at the top rail, how to get on top. Yeah, this game's it's about adjustments, and so what the pitchers is when the hitters started going to the power swing and with the uppercut, they adjusted. Okay, I'll pitch on the top rail, and now the hitters are adjusting to that. So you'll see more sinkers and splits and things like that. So this is how the game works, and it goes back to when this game first started. Of course, Babe Ruth changed the game, with the power, but in the rotational swing, then you saw a linear swing. Now it's back to rotation, and that's why that high fastball is a very effective pitch. But now hitters are adjusting to that because hitters used to be high ball hitters. I mean, that's what they did. It was more of a level swing, and so you're starting to see more of it now.
It's cyclical, right? It's all cyclical.
Yep.
It's interesting that you think. So Scott's the guy you think of when you think of the splitter.
I do, yeah.
I mean,
there's some really good ones out there, but the
first guy that you thought of that threw it regularly.
Well, because I knew him when he didn't have one, and then he goes to Houston and then comes up with this pitch. Roger Craig helped show him how to throw it. Now he became the most dominant pitcher in baseball. So that's why I use that example.
Is Evan Carter okay? He's not on the line today.
He's fine. We'll have a squad game, so I'm going to keep him back, let him get some at-bats there. There's a few of them I'm doing that with. So he can jump in there when he wants and get at-bats. He's playing tomorrow.
So he's hands feeling fine.
I'm sorry?
The hands feeling.
Yeah, no, he's good. No. He took BP the next day, hit one out in live BP. No, he's good to go. There's quite a few I'm keeping back. We have 5 innings here, so there'll be plenty of bats for these guys, and so he's all set to go tomorrow. I am taking Langford with me, and then he'll get a couple of days off.
How are you seeing Langford kind of handle? He's in a little bit of an 0 for right now, 1 hit and 1 for 12.
Yeah.
Are you seeing him handle that well?
You wouldn't even know it. This kid's really tough mentally. He's just, he gets it. He knows it's part of the game. Goes with the territory. When you play this game, results aren't going to be there at times, and it's early. I mean, that's the silver linings of all this. Is here we are just getting into March, and so he'll get plenty of at-bats. So it's not phasing him at all.
I know.
At least he's not showing it.
I know you can't expect anyone to be healthy for an entire season straight through, but what would a full healthy season of Josh Sborz look like?
Sporzy?
Yeah.
Well, I think you'd see some really good numbers. A guy that really makes us a lot better. When he's healthy, he was a difference maker for our bullpen last year. we had our hiccups, but when he was throwing well, he was the guy that really, I thought, saved us in those high leverage innings. Now Smitty too, we had our early struggles, but and then at the end you saw what Sborz was doing. So no, it's our job to do all we can to keep him healthy. We did work him pretty good at times, so we'll do all we can to monitor his workload.
I felt like he was always kind of the X factor. Like whenever he was on, it felt like the bullpen was on.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt too. He came in, stopped rallies. I brought him in bases loaded, first and second, things like that, and he just nipped it there and gave us 2 innings at times. 1+ innings. Used them 6th, 7th inning. We used them even later than that. And what really helped bring us together is when he got right. And if you remember, we were a little concerned about whether he would be ready for the postseason, and then we thrown him in live BP, and he looked pretty good. And sure enough, he went out there and got on a hot roll and was huge integral part of what happened in that bullpen, how successful they were.
Do you have a game date for Dolly's first?
You know what? We just talked about him. He's going to start DHing here soon. He's getting at bats today in the game. So I'd say next Thursday in that area, Thursday, Friday, you'll see him in the games.
Has he been cool with it, or is he like saying? Hey,
No, he's been good with it. He wants all the bats he can get in these games and B games. Running well, doing all those things, but this is the plan for him.
Something Sborz talked about was, with there being more options in the bullpen this year, like that allows guys maybe more time to rest. Is that kind of the other side effect? Obviously, you're bringing in more options for better performance, but if you have more guys back there, you don't have to use a guy 17 times in 18 days or something.
No, exactly. Having Robertson and Yates down there. Hopefully Johnny Hernandez, we have him ready. He's going to be thrown here soon. Of course, with Leclerc, it's going to be easier to give those guys longer breaks, and as I mentioned earlier, just monitor their workload. And there'll be some other guys. I think all the guys that will be on our club are guys that we will use in high leverage situations. Now we're going to have the multiple inning guys, but I think we're still going to have confidence. If we need to give those guys a rest, we'll do it.
Besides those 4 that we know of, who are the other guys that could get high leverage moments?
Berg,
Okay.
it was just 2 years ago, and he was throwing the ball very well. I like where he's at now. I hate to go into names because I'm going to leave somebody out. Somebody's going to see this, but there's some pretty good options, and they're all throwing well right now. We're going to have some tough decisions. You see these guys. Even Rodriguez yesterday, you saw how electric his stuff can be. That's just an example, but really, that's a good thing, they say. But when you have to make those decisions, they're hard ones, but they're good ones.
In a perfect world, how many long relievers would you like to have?
Yeah, I like 2. A lot of times they go 1, but I really like 2, because if you use 1 the next day, now you're caught in a box a little bit, and if you use a guy 2 or 3 innings, you can bring him back after 1 day. So that's why 2's always been my preference.
That's Brock, and who are the other options that long reliever?
Well, you're going to see them all getting multiple innings, even our high leverage guys.
Yeah.
We're going to go 1+ with them, and a couple of them will go 2 innings, just to get them stretched out. So, we don't want to get in a box with just sprinters down there, as they say, the 1 inning guys. But Leclerc will, before we break camp, we'll check that box off with him and Robertson and Yates.
we've seen from Zach Kent?
Yeah. Zach's got good movement, really good slider. His last game, command was off a little bit, but he competed very well. And, when he had to, find a way to make pitches, that's what I look at when those guys, when things start to go a little awry. Are they able to slow it down, compete? And, I thought he did a good job of that. So, no, Zach, he's got good movement. He's not going to power his way through guys, but he's going to get his ground balls and swing and misses on that slider.
I think we talked about this maybe a couple weeks ago, but for guys like Kent, Wynn, White, could they open the season in the bullpen for you guys?
Oh, that's an option, yeah. Because again, you're looking at lone guys, so that's what we're looking at. You've seen Wynn come out of the bullpen now, and yesterday you saw Owen White. We're going to look at all those options. See how resilient they are too. Minor leagues a little easier to get them on a structured deal, but in major leagues, it's sometimes you got to push guys a little bit.